It is understandably frustrating when your baby who has been sleeping reasonably well begins to have trouble sleeping. This could be a result of sleep regression, which is normal and should pass with time and consistent routines. Hi, I'm Leanne from Sleepy Baba. In today's video, we will be discussing sleep regressions in babies, what is sleep regression, and how you can deal with it. Let's find out. If a baby does not sleep well for a couple of nights, parents begin using the R word. Some people subscribe to the idea that there are 4-month, 6-month, 9-month, 12-month, 18-month, and 2-year sleep regressions. That is not all though. There are also feeding regression, growth spurts, and other types of regression. People may see these regressions as hiccups caused by things outside of their control. But the 4-month sleep regression is a phase that everyone agrees on, and for good reason. It is the real deal and is consistent. In order for you to understand what's going on with your baby during this stage, first, you'll need to know a few things about sleep. Many of us think of sleep as an on and off situation in which we are either asleep or not. It's like we have a button in our bodies that we can turn on and off. However, sleep actually has several stages that make up the sleep cycle, which we all go through several times a night. Stage 1 is the initial phase that we are all familiar with, where you can feel yourself drifting off but you don't really feel like you have fallen asleep. Stage 2 is when people usually tend to realize that they were actually sleeping after being woken up. This is considered the first stage of true sleep. If you are taking a power nap, this is as deep as you would want to go. Otherwise, you will end up waking up groggy. Step 3 is the deep and regenerative sleep, also known as slow wave sleep, SWS. This is where your body begins repairing the immune system, muscle tissues, and energy levels. This is the stage that also sparks growth and development. Stage 4 is the REM sleep. This is when the brain starts to kick in and consolidate information and memories from the day before. This is also when we do most of our dreaming. After we have gone through all of the stages, we either wake up or come close to waking up. Then we start all over again until it is time to wake up. So, how does this relate to the dreaded sleep regression that I mentioned earlier? Well, newborns only have 2 stages of sleep, deep sleep and REM sleep. They spend about half the sleep in each of the 2 stages. However, around the 3rd or 4th month, there is a reorganization of sleep as they begin to embrace the 4-stage sleep cycle that they will continue to follow for the rest of their lives. When this takes place, a baby's REM sleep decreases in order to make room for stage 1 and 2. And as they spend more time in these light sleep stages, there is greater chance of them waking up. Now, this isn't to say that we want to prevent babies from waking up. Waking up is completely natural, and even we adults continue to wake up multiple times a night, and even more as we get older. When we wake up in the middle of the night as adults, we usually think to ourselves, hey, it's not the time to wake up yet. So, we realize that we should go back to sleep, and we do. But a 4-month-old baby does not have these critical thinking skills. A 4-month-old baby who fell asleep at his or her mother's breast may think something like, okay, the last thing I remember is seeing a familiar, beloved face and being held while eating my dinner. But now I'm all alone in this dark room with no food and no one to hold me. Now that the baby has realized that mommy is not here and is not quite sure where she has gone to, the natural response is to freak out. This stimulates the fight or flight response, and the baby will not sleep until there is food or there is someone to hold her again. Up to this point, there may be other possible major contributors. Parents may have put their baby to sleep with a pacifier, rocked them to sleep, breastfed them to sleep, or used some other technique to help their baby fall asleep. Now that the baby is spending more time in the light sleep stages with a higher chance of waking up, this becomes a much bigger problem. Sleep props can be very sneaky because while they may be helpful in getting your baby to that initial drowsy stage, their absence when they wake up means that your baby will be unable to fall back asleep without them. Cue the screaming and crying. And when this occurs every half hour, it will take a toll on the parents. Well, the good news for parents who are experiencing the dreadful 4-month sleep regression is that it is not, in fact, a regression at all. A regression is defined as the reversion to an earlier mental or behavioral level, which is the exact opposite of what your baby is experiencing. So, the 4-month sleep progression would be a more apt title. Now, for the big question, what can you do to help your little one through this trying period? First and foremost, get rid of all sources of light in your baby's room. I'm not kidding. You may think that your baby's room is dark enough or that your baby dislikes the dark, and that having a little light seeping in from the windows or hallway would comfort him or her. But no, your baby's room must be dark. Use blackout curtains. If needed, you could take black garbage bags all over the windows. Newborns and infants are not afraid of the dark. They are, however, responsive to light. Light signals to their brains that it is time for activity and alertness, for which the brain secretes hormones accordingly. This is why during naps and bedtimes, we want to keep the nursery pitch black. Noise is another foe of daytime sleep. Most of us in Singapore live in apartments, and you know how voice travels. It could be your doorbell, your husband talking on a conference call, your downstairs neighbor doing renovation or construction noises. With babies spending more time in light sleep stages, noises can easily startle and wake them up, which makes a white noise machine an excellent addition to your nursery. You are probably wondering, wait, isn't that a prop? Well, in a way it is, but it does not require any winding, resetting, reinserting, or parental presence. It is just there for as long as your baby is sleeping. So it is not a prop that you need to avoid. Bedtime routines are also an essential component of getting your baby to sleep well. Try to keep your baby's bedtime routine to 4 or 5 steps and avoid ending it with a feed. Otherwise, your baby may nod off at the breast or bottle, resulting in the dreaded sleep association that we discussed earlier. So, keep the feed near the start of the routine and plan the songs and stories towards the end. The entire process should take about 20 to 30 minutes, and your baby should be placed in the crib wide awake. Now, there will be regressions. Actual regressions later in your child's adolescent years. Traveling, illness, and feeding can all cause your child to have a string of bad nights. But when it comes to the 4-month sleep regression, I'm happy to report that this is a one-time occurrence. Once you get through this, your baby will have officially entered the sleep cycle that he or she will be following for the rest of their life. And by taking advantage of this opportunity to teach your child the skills that they need to string the sleep cycles independently and prop-free, you will have given your child a gift that he or she will benefit from for the rest of their life. Of course, some children will take to this process like a fish to water, while others will be more resistant. Consider yourself fortunate and rejoice if your child falls into the first category. But for those of you parents in the latter category, I'm happy to assist you any way I can. Just visit my website or give me a call so that we can work together to create a personalized plan for your child. The most common thing I hear after working with my clients is, I can't believe I waited so long to get some help. So, if you are exhausted and need sleep, now is the time to do so. I offer a free 15-minute discovery call with parents, during which I will evaluate and learn about your little one's situation. I will explain to you how we can work together. Let's talk today and get started as soon as you are ready to get your precious little one sleeping through the night.